Okay, welcome to a very special edition of the Dying to Know More podcast. We have a special guest today. The topic we are talking about today is basically when we talk about death, the concept of death. A topic that always comes up is, where do you go after you die? What is there beyond life? So today I've invited my good friend Jim T to come share an experience that he had that may shed some light on the topic. And frankly, there is no better storyteller than I've ever met. So I'm going to just hand it over. So take it away, Jim.
Hey, everybody. I have had some ghostly experiences. I think I've lived long enough to see things that you have to wonder about. And so I wanted to tell the story of the most ghostly thing that I've ever seen. You know, you hear about ghosts and you hear about the stories, but you don't really actually see any ghosts. And so this is about this thing happening to me. And I was living with a woman, and I later married her. So now I live with her all the time. And here are some key factors that I've had a lot of time to think about this. This happened to me when I was about 20 or about 30, I guess. So about 30 years ago. And she lived in a house that was made of stone that were from the 1820s here in Nashville. So all the stones have been moved to this neighborhood, which you actually know about. It's about the gas station where you met your husband.
Right.
And so this whole house was they were not little stones. They were giant
Yeah.
blocks of like
Yeah.
quartz. I don't know what they were. But so we're in the room and I'm asleep and something wakes me up. I'm a pretty light sleeper. And I remember leaning up on one arm and looking at the foot of the bed and seeing a woman. And I remember immediately thinking, I'm having a dream. I'm in a dream. And I was like, well, I'll just watch this woman. And so I had enough time to realize she's picking up clothes off the foot of the bed, and she had a pot belly, like a big pot belly. And then I realized she's wearing like an 1880s type of dress that came all the way up to her neck, and she had a little apron on, and she was very large. And so she would take the clothing and put it on her belly and fold it, and then she'd put it over here. And
Yeah.
so I'm giving me chills just to tell the story. I've told it 100 times. But so she's folding the clothes on her belly. And I'm like, I'll wake up or the dream will change. And then I realized I'm fully awake. I'm looking around the room and I'm like, I'm not dreaming. And then but I'm seeing this woman in the room folding clothes. And then at this point, I realize I can slightly see through her. And then it dawns on me, this is a ghost. I am seeing a ghost in the room, and Angela is asleep, my wife, right in front of me. And I watched for a little bit more. She just folded laundry, oblivious to me. Obviously, I was not a part of that reality that I was looking at. And I thought, you know what? I could wake Angela up so she could see the ghost. Double verification would
Yeah.
be awesome. And at
Yeah.
that very moment, before I woke Angela up, the ghost started to just evaporate, dissipate, might be a good word, like a mist almost. So she
Yeah.
was a solid thing. And then she just started to not be there anymore. And at that same time, Angela woke up and looked in that direction. And by the time she looked up, the ghost was gone, of course. That's how it goes. And she said, I felt water dripping on me. And it was something that's what woke me up. So, like, that is the most ghosty ghost. I've had other things that have happened to me that were more scary, but I've never had one appear in front of me.
What was the water dripping?
Well, that's I don't know, but every time I tell the story, if I leave that part out, Angela is very insistent that
Wants to
that
make sure.
water dripping
Yeah.
woke her up at the same time I was about to say, "Hey, check out this ghost at the foot of our bed." Now, do I fully believe that I saw a ghost? I saw a ghostly apparition. I really believe it.
Yes.
And I can't like I could draw a vague sketch of what she looked like,
You can
but
still remember her.
yeah, I can
Yeah.
still see her folding in my. It's not like you know when you have a dream and it's so vivid, and then 3 days later you don't even remember you had the dream, or you
Right.
couldn't. You're like, it was not like that. It was so I have a theory.
Okay,
There
let's
are
hear it.
other people in Nashville that have gone down to their basement and seen like Civil War doctors working on patients in their basement.
Right.
And they
Yes.
stop at the top of the stairs and they realize what they're looking at. And so one theory is that moments like that can be captured in the stone, like almost like a video camera or a
Ah,
photograph,
yeah.
and somehow they're replayed. It's more of a physical thing than a spiritual thing.
Okay.
And so maybe I was just looking at a moment in time that involved that house in the 18 whatevers. And there was a little lady who folded clothes on her belly. And I just happened to see it play in the middle of
Yeah.
the night.
Yeah. Did you ever go back and do any sort of like research on the house or the history of the house or anything like that?
So I did find out what year it was built, but we
Okay.
were at a party and we walked by that house. This is we can keep going if you don't mind because I have another
Yeah.
story like this.
Yeah.
I desperately wanted to go knock on the door, and A, I don't want to freak anyone out, but B, I want to know if you saw something
Right.
because I saw
Totally.
something. So
Yeah.
I have another ghost story that's a lot scarier.
Okay.
So I move in a house on Woodlawn Drive, which is not that far away from Angela's house, and I didn't know Angela at the time, but I had a yellow dog named Cecil, and I was putting things in this attic that was kind of raw, that was not built out. And whenever I went in the attic, it was remarkably different and creepy, and the hair on your arm would go up. And obviously, I realized after a while something was in that attic with me.
Right.
I didn't
Yeah.
like going up there, and so that Cecil was with me. He was like my only friend in LA, and then now he is my companion in Nashville. And I'm like, go upstairs with me, dog. Support me, man. And he would sit at the bottom of the stairs and just cry. He refused to go up the stairs.
Yeah.
So I would go up there, and then I knew the owner, the lady who owned the house. She wasn't old or anything, and I was like, "Did anyone die in this house?" And she's like, "Nope, no one died in that house." Well, it's an old house; it's from the 1910.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the first house on Woodlawn Drive. And I'll tell you the end of the story. So super creepy. I didn't like it. I knew something was up, and I'd been mowing the lawn of the old neighbors next door because they're so dang old they couldn't mow their
Yeah.
lawn. And
Yeah.
she one day says, "Jimmy, I grew up in the house that you live in." And I said, "What? How did I not know this?" And she said, "That was our house. We had a dairy farm. This was the first house in the area. There was nothing here." Yeah. And I said, "Did anyone die in your house?" And she said, "Well, my aunt hung herself in the stairwell to the attic."
Oh my
And
gosh.
I was like, "Well, that's what I'm feeling up there, you know?"
Oh my gosh. That is creepy. That's making my arm hairs stand up.
Yeah. Well,
Oh my god.
Angela had a Ouija board. And
Yeah.
before that, I never messed with Ouija boards. I thought it was bad business.
Yes.
And we would have parties and the Ouija board would come out. And that friggin' Ouija board went to town.
Got some action.
And I was like, I thought the Ouija board was talking about me. I realized later it was talking about the reason that girl hung herself. She had a reason. It was some uncle or something like that. Some sort of this all, and I learned this from the lady next door. There was some sort of
Yeah.
abuse going on, and it led to
Oh
her.
god.
Maybe she got pregnant or something like that. But that Ouija board was like hostile. And now I
Yeah.
really believe that all the stuff coming off that Ouija board was her talking about this person.
Yeah.
But
So, okay, so then that brings me to the question. So did these experiences change? I mean, did you already have a preconceived notion about where you go after you die, or did
no,
these impact you, or
yes, I really
how
do
so?
believe that something. First of all, I would hate to think that we spend our whole life trying to be who we are and bettering ourselves and evolving, and then one day we just extinguish. Now, you could say, and I was at a show last night where Matthew McConaughey, where he says, even if there's not a heaven, maybe what you leave behind is some of the worth that you've created is what you leave behind. Now that would be the flip side. Let's say my daughter, my son, the people that I've affected, lives that you've affected without even knowing it. That could be some sort of spiritual legacy that you. pass on. But at the same time, yes, I think there's too many weird things that occur to not believe that something is going on beyond. It's this is just a genetic encasement that allows me to move around this vibrational plane that we all happen to be in together at this moment. That's how I feel.
Okay.
And
All right.
so, yeah, I do believe, and I really hope that, you die and maybe you don't know what happens next. And you wake up and you're a baby and you do it all over again. Maybe you wake up and you're hanging out with your grandpa and your dad and all the people that mean something, and then you go do something else, And I'll say the most important thing that I think, if I could say anything to anyone, if you knew what happened after you died, then almost nothing would mean anything. Because if you could play a video game and you could game over and start over on a level and do it until you're perfect at the level, that's not how it works. And so maybe this whole experience is a learning process, and we're learning how to learn and helping others. And if we knew the end, then it would all be meaningless. So we can't know what's going to happen.
I really like that. I really like that a lot. Well, thank you. I appreciate you sharing your both stories. Second one was definitely creepier.
Yes.
But yeah,
I hope
thank you
she's
for the
okay.
enlightenment.
I did go up there after I found out what happened, and I'm like, you should go wherever you need to go. You don't need to hang out here.
Oh, yeah, totally. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
All righty. Bye.